And welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. This is a live show, so if you have any questions, please ask away. We will answer them. If you're watching this after the fact, put your questions in there. We will answer them. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started this, and we love the engagement. I want to get a few housekeeping things out of the way first. We have the Alberta Technology Symposium coming up April 26th, 27th here in Calgary. Tickets will be up in the comment sections. Early bird tickets is on site. We'll have about 350 people there. It is one of the best events in Alberta all year. So click on the link soon here and check it out. Also, the Startup TNT Summit finales are coming here March 23rd. The link will be there to sign up for them. We'll have a live event in Edmonton, Calgary, and Regina. So we're pretty excited about that. But what I'm really excited about is having my friend Jason on today from ICONIQ. How are you doing today?
Jade, I am excellent. Thank you. And what an enthusiastic intro.
Well, you have to keep it after, 260 of them. You better not just come on and start, right?
Yeah, no, I
You got to
like
keep
it.
it. You got to keep it real. That's the way I look at it, right?
And thank you for repping the brand today, Jade. Appreciate the
Thought
shirt.
about that. Look at anybody, anytime. I mean, I can be bought very, very cheaply, right? I got that. I'm telling you, we had a little conversation before, and I told you, I like honestly when I'm out there, this is probably between my shirts and shoes. People always ask, and like when I wore this one, everyone's like, "Oh my God, you got devs? How do you get devs?" Like that's they love the shirt because it's just perfectly enough to fit inside my blazer. So it's I don't know if you planned that or not.
Absolutely. Look, absolutely. But I knew you were going to be wearing it today, and I was going to have the banner in the back. So
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so awesome. And I'll be wearing this shirt all day now and I love it. So, one of the things that I love is hearing the founding stories of companies. And I know you kind of just went through a little bit of a change. So why don't you talk about, how you founded the company, why you founded the company, and a little bit of your change here.
yeah, so we recently went through a rebrand, and that was in late fall of 2022. We became ICONIQ. And and I think that this is interesting for people to understand. We were called Jobs Alberta. And so we're a Calgary based tech recruiting company. And as we evolved over a number of years, we ended up becoming a tech recruiting company. But prior to that, we were doing recruiting and immigration consulting, bringing people into Alberta from around the world to help solve labor shortage issues in the trucking industry, in the construction industry, in the hospitality industry. And as our business evolved and became more niche and more focused on tech recruiting, we felt that Jobs Alberta represented our who we were and our mission less and less. And so the ideation of a rebrand was something that we got really focused on and became Icon IQ. And we've been, the rebrand process is a huge undertaking for any company that's thinking about it. Absolutely worthwhile, but it absolutely occupies a lot of your time, your team's time. And then you have to settle into that new brand. So in addition to making all the changes, you have to really settle into the new brand and connecting it with who you are, and then really start telegraphing that out into the market.
Well, I guess let's touch on that. I mean, you're bringing creating jobs here now, bringing people in, solving situations and employment issues for companies. I want to touch on what you said there about the rebranding because I've never really talked about rebranding on this show, and then the pros and cons of it. Let's how hard was it to rebrand to Icon IQ and maybe talk a little bit when I mean hard about how it took away from maybe the focus of your business and how much time you put into that rather than the actual business.
Yeah, some of the things I would say that a couple of challenges that we faced. One was in anticipation of the rebrand, we really stopped investing in some of our existing marketing under our old company Jobs Alberta. So that if you're thinking about your business development momentum, we probably pulled back on that more than we should have, and kept really pushing hard on Jobs Alberta right up until we flipped the switch and launched ICONIQ. Something else that we probably should have done sooner was, again, signal to the market that we are becoming ICONIQ and building more of a story around that. I think that because, as a small business and a small team, you're doing all you can, with the rebrand, but also maintaining just regular business operations. So it came down to capacity, but that would be advice for someone that really, if you're rebranding and it isn't a big state secret, put it out there really early, let people know, and then let those people out in your network start telling the story for you. But it absolutely became, I would say, I say distraction, but I don't want that to be perceived as negative. It took focus away from some of our core business operations. So I would absolutely do things differently, but it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We really, in the ideation of the name, for instance, the colors, some of the language that we were using, bringing our team on board and having everybody, listening to everybody's voice. Who are we? Where are we going? So that part of it is a lot of fun. And we're at a point now where we feel ICONIQ feels like who we are. It's an extension of us as a team, which is really cool. So everybody now is in a really good position. And I think most people who knew us as Jobs Alberta now know us and understand us as ICONIQ.
I think that's a very powerful statement. Talking about who you are and bringing the team together and having them have a say and having them, they take ownership in the company, and they believe it's part of them now, rather than just working for a company that they had before and saying, yeah, this should be this, we should do this. This is what's out there. I mean, I think that's such a valuable point you made.
Yeah, and they were absolutely critical. So I absolutely don't have all the best ideas, but as a team, we definitely did.
Oh, I love that. So let's talk a little bit after that transition, and now you're up and running. So what are some of the the things that you've done? What have you changed? What are you looking to do in the short term here?
Yeah, maybe I can just go back a little bit and talk really about how we became so focused on tech recruiting. And
Perfect.
and I hope that this doesn't throw us off some of the
Nope.
speaking points today. Okay, okay. In looking at, if we go back to 2019 is when we started thinking about this. In looking at the technology industry in Alberta, living in Calgary, though, there was, specifically in Calgary, and a lot of what we were hearing, even before the pandemic, which accelerated the demand for tech talent, but even before then in 2019, Calgary was really signaling that there was a shortage of engineers, developers, data scientists, and companies were struggling or challenged to find the talent they needed. And at the time, it was 4,000 unfilled tech jobs. I think this was an Alberta statistic at the time, or maybe Calgary, I can't recall. And so we started hearing this regularly, and began doing some research and polling, sitting down with companies, talking to them about their growth trajectory, their talent challenges, their talent solutions. And we thought that we could, given our experience in working with local companies, understanding their talent needs, and then bringing people in to Canada or to Alberta to help solve talent supply issues, that we could really add value to the local ecosystem. So from the very beginning, our mission was to help grow the talent pool by bringing people into Canada, by bringing people into Alberta, Calgary. And we started looking at very closely at, so what are the international recruitment options that a company is going to look at now, or what kind of talent options are companies going to look at? And there were the common ones that most people are familiar with around a dev shop in India or in Asia, or recruiting people from Eastern Europe to Canada. And we thought that, what are some of the challenges or the issues that people are talking about when they are using those types of resources, and time zones, English language, IP protection. And so we looked at where in the world was there a really great, rich source of talent that addressed time zone matching, that addressed, Canadian work experience or American work experience, really great educational background. It was Latin America. So we established our recruiting team in Mexico, and our business now, the bulk of what we do is working with Canadian companies who need senior or experienced engineering talent using our Mexican recruiting team, and they go out and scour Latin America, primarily Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, and Chile, and look for great tech talent, again, to bring them into the local ecosystem to provide a sustainable talent option.
So is that, I mean, you mentioned 4,000 jobs there a while ago. Is there still, still 4,000? I know the last number I heard was closer to 2,000. And, I guess, a question is, why can't we fill those jobs locally when, I mean, not saying, I mean, it's obviously we bring jobs from all over the world, which is great, and more immigrants and more, more tech people. We need more tech people in this city. And and especially when you bring people from other cultures, they come with their ideas and thoughts that we don't have. So
Mm-hmm.
what, maybe expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that tech is still fairly, it's been around. It's been around in I would say almost a hidden way for 20 years, in Calgary, and we've had in Alberta. There have been a number of unicorns in the province. I think though it's begun to accelerate at a pace that has exceeded the talent supply. And so that's created a part of the problem. The other challenge is that you can be, working from anywhere became a viable option
Yeah.
during the pandemic, especially. You can be living in Calgary, Edmonton, Medicine Hat, Grand Prairie, and be working for a tech company in Silicon Valley, Paris. So we have really great talent that could be working remotely for a company in another city, another country. And so the third piece is around what we see in the market. There's a lot of demand, and this is where the scarcity is, I would say, on the experienced or senior end of the talent spectrum. There aren't enough people with 7+ years of work experience locally. I think that there's a lot of the educational institutions, a lot of the coding camps that exist, people transitioning from other industries into tech. There's a lot of great talent. It's just I think that one of the gaps right now is that they may not have the work experience that companies are looking for. And what we hear from a lot of startups is that they can't really afford training and mentorship time at this point in their life cycle. They need to bring someone on who's able to do everything. And so I think over time, all of these people, these very capable graduates or people transitioning, these junior developers, they're going to grow into fantastic developers once they get that experience. So one of the things that part of what we're doing is by bringing those senior and experienced people in, filling those gaps, helping these companies grow. These companies then can add these more junior resources who will then benefit from the training, the mentorship, and coaching from these experienced people.
I think that's a very valid point, right? I mean, obviously, we're out there, we see a lot of startups, work with a lot of startups, talk to a lot of startups, and that is a serious, a serious issue, is trying to find somebody that isn't as junior. Not that the junior couldn't do the right job. It's a job that they could possibly grow into as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the time. And I mean, whether it be Lighthouse or, my favorite Inception, and what Margo and
Mm-hmm.
Alan, those guys are doing over there, it's great,
Mm-hmm.
right? We support them the best that we can. And obviously it's, even through peer guidance, we've supported them in many ways. But I never really thought of it that way, as when you bring someone in, you can actually ask them as a mentor. And again,
Mm-hmm.
work's, I mean, I'm a 29, almost 30-year work from home guy, and work's a thing you do, not a place you go. So I do
Mm-hmm.
think COVID actually made that a reality where, somebody can be sitting in Mexico City or Los Angeles or Colombia or where it is.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I think there are larger, and what we're seeing now is companies that are larger, companies that are more mature. They're in a really good position to onboard interns, to onboard more junior people and help them grow and develop, especially as these companies turn over. And this is what I think is going to be really powerful about Calgary's ecosystem, Edmonton's ecosystem over the next decade, is you will have companies who are, they're maybe sold or acquired, and you've got founding team members who are exiting, who are going in, they have capital. And this is, I think these are some of the key ingredients to a successful ecosystem. But having come out of a very successful startup with that knowledge, with that skill set, with those connections, now with that capital to launch new businesses, to provide that coaching, mentorship. And so it's just this self-fulfilling, I think, system that will really, again, accelerate. We'll hit that kind of inflection point where our ecosystem is just growing very, very rapidly. And so we need to make sure that we're ready for that. And part of that is going to be the talent. But as those companies grow and evolve, and the notoriety of them, that draws more and more people into the province. And I have to say that the province is doing tech talent's globally competitive. The province is very focused on really highlighting why Alberta is an attractive place for people to live, for a career in tech, but also working hard at attracting tech companies to establish operations here.
I think I mean, I'm glad to hear. I mean, I think, I'm on a lot of podcasts and I hear that, people are envious of Alberta. So it's good to hear that even in the tech talent recruit that there is some help. There is a lot of support because, I mean, companies are only as good as the people that they have. I mean, it doesn't matter what company, if it's tech or non-tech, the people are the heartbeat of the company. So to have somebody there to properly train and mentor and bring more talent and create these jobs for, maybe these juniors might not stay with that company for a little, maybe they're there for a little while, they learn a lot, and then themselves can become a senior guy at another company somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I'm just reminded of something else that I wanted to maybe talk about today, and it's how a startup, and a startup is a long continuum. It could be, one person with an idea all the way to a company that just is about to close their Series A. But I think a lot of smaller companies struggle to hire. And this is, so one of the things that we talk about is, I can't hire the right people. And I definitely don't want to sacrifice us being able to work with as many people as possible. But I think that there are some basic things that companies can do to make themselves more successful in hiring. And one of those would be, tech companies can be really great at marketing what they do, marketing their service or their product. I think they need to take the same approach with how they're attracting talent. And a lot of companies are doing amazing. They have great cultures that, people love work.
Oh, did we get a freeze? We got a freeze. Well, I know. Well, I'll just keep talking. Hopefully, Jason can log back on here, and it'll keep on. Oh, there you are. You back?
Are we back? Should I start?
Yeah, I never left.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the first thing for companies to consider really is if whatever they have for culture, their values, their mission, make sure that they're sharing that, and that because if they're making an Indeed post or posting a job on LinkedIn, a potential job seeker is going to be scouring the social channels to see if on the surface this looks like a company who they want to work for. So that's just low-hanging fruit that I think companies just need to, if they're not doing it, they should start. And if they are doing it, good for them, but can they even make it better? The second piece is around the job description. We regularly find that job descriptions, again, startup founders are really busy. This isn't although getting this person in the chair is a priority for them, they might be less familiar with the process, or just flat out not have the time for the process. But you're competing again for senior talent. You're competing against other companies down the street and around the world. So crafting that job description the right way, again, is really, really powerful. So those are two things that I just wanted to mention, that, easy things that companies can do that will increase, I would say, the quality of the candidates who are applying for their jobs. From there, their hiring process is an entirely different conversation.
No, absolutely. So what type of companies are you targeting with Icon? Like, who are you looking for? What type of what type? I know startups. They said startups can go from one employee working in their house to a Series A category. So what are you looking for?
Yeah, most of our customers, I would say, fall within that startup category. Recruiting, there is a fee for it. So there needs to be some sort of financial runway or capitalization within the company in order to work with a company like ours. I'm always happy to have conversations with whoever, though, about your hiring process. I love to talk about your business and how you can get better. But we're really focused on companies where we can add a lot of value to. So when we're talking about that startup who's got an awesome idea, an awesome team, great momentum, who just maybe don't have the internal resources to do the hiring, or there's a certain skill set that is really in demand or hard to find. That's where we come in, and so we're adding right from that original creation of the job description, through the entire hiring process, interviewing people, running through technical exams, coding challenges, negotiating the offer, providing onboarding support. And if there's relocation, our company does all of the integration work. So from end to end, that first conversation with us to figure out what you need, all the way to that person either being onboarded remotely and staying in Latin America, or relocating to your office in Canada. We focus on helping you as much as we can with every step in that entire process. So it's not just about getting you a great candidate, it's really about helping add value and save your company time with an expert service.
So I there's a few questions here on LinkedIn, and I can't post them up because they're really not partnered yet. But Robert asked, he's a VP for Virgo CX, one of our partners with the Blockchain Consortium. He goes, "Do you guys just pipeline tech dev jobs? Is that it? Is there anything out? Do you do any other jobs?"
No, our core pillars are engineering, data science, and design.
Okay, perfect. So as I tell all my guests, go check it out. Respond to Robert, start a conversation. You never know where that leads to, right? So he's on there.
Absolutely.
We'll check that. We can catch up with that a little bit later. So yeah. So I guess now we kind of know that you're targeting and who you're targeting. Let's talk a little bit about what's next. You've gone through your little rebranding and it looks fantastic. I love it. I got a T-shirt. I'm always excited about T-shirts. Sorry, Robert, I'm not wearing my Virgo T-shirt today, but I'll maybe wear it next week. But what's next for you guys, short term? Let's say 1 or so years, and maybe the 5 to 10 year range goals.
Yeah, right now we're really focused on, I would say, from a marketing perspective, creating awareness for companies that there are options out there, and we're one of many. We're one of several options. Our model is very unique. Um, we're we're continuing to expand geographically. So one of the reasons we rebranded from Jobs Alberta is that we found it constraining marketing to companies outside of Alberta to do business with us. So really focused on growing our market base outside of the province. Picking up maybe on Robert's question to a degree, we have found that having a very narrow discipline, it has served us well, in that being experts on the engineering side, and I'll say design side, um, we're able to source really good people very quickly. So I think that is where we are going to live, at least in the near term. Something that's been interesting for us was we've actually added local search to our offering as well. And it was one of these things in business where we had customers who we were working with. We love the near shore talent option. In this particular example, starting remote, then relocating into Canada. But can you help us in finding, does local talent, is there a supply of local talent for this particular role? So we launched local recruiting probably 3 or 4 months ago, and that's been going really well. And something, a cool feature of our local recruiting is we will run a concurrent search. So we will run a nearshore search and a local search and provide both candidate options for a company to let them decide really what they want. So
Well,
it
I
just
love that.
accesses a much larger talent pool.
Yeah, I think it's right. I mean, and it gives them a decision, right, to make. And I'm sure
Hmm.
maybe the skill level might be a little different. Maybe the salary requests are a little different, and maybe there's some grants out there, whatever province they're in, that they can get because of it too, right?
Exactly. You bet.
No, I love it, and actually, I didn't know that, so I think that's a very good thing for people that might have a negative feedback of saying, why are we bringing people in? We got all these jobs, we got unemployment, the king, but that doesn't mean that Jade Alberts isn't going to go be a rigger. Like I'll create more problems than I want to. So I mean, you got to have the right person, and having the right hire for a startup or even a scale up is so important that the salary and the money that is wasted that we see on bad hires, it could be really detrimental
Hmm.
to an organization.
Hmm. And if I could just, I know we're almost at time here. I just wanted to maybe talk about the local ecosystem right now, and
Yeah.
their tech layoffs in 2022. That is something that was a global occurrence, and it was really uh, companies. It seems companies who were now right sizing based
Yeah.
on what they saw growing, or how they saw themselves growing forward. What's been really interesting though about that is a lot of people, and I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people who have been let go, especially on the engineering side of the business, have very quickly found new jobs because of the demand for their skill set. So the unemployment rate within the tech sector is, I think, close to half what it is for the broader economy. So that would be one point, that although there are more people, I would say it might be a little bit easier to find someone you're looking for. A lot of the challenges that companies face when they're hiring are still there. So there hasn't been a significant change. So I do want to caution people that it still is hard if you have a unique skill set you're looking for, it can still be challenging. So it's not maybe it's maybe
Yeah.
just the labor market right now.
No, for sure. And I know, actually, Robert had a question here, and I know we are running a little bit short on time. Robert Pound, a different Robert on LinkedIn, talking about, the work with the new hires and relocating them, and what services do you provide your clients with. So I'll let you answer that one on LinkedIn, for him. On that, and I've tagged you in it so you can go take a gander at it. But I mean, that's a power of having these conversations, right? And people always say, like, why do you keep telling it like it is? Well, I mean, there's lots of people out there that are interested in that, find new things. The other Robert Jackson's based in Toronto, right? And I mean, this is what we're doing. We're here to collide worlds. We're here to share stories, and having you come on and talk about what you do, and even that local side, puts a big side, big smile on my face, because anybody that wants to bring in outside talent, can now look, local too, and you're helping them doing it, and allowing them to make that decision on what's best for them. So kudos to that. I think that's an impressive thing, Jason.
Thanks, Jade. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I know I'm always sad when these conversations come to an end, but you and I have known each other for a while, and we were just hanging up in Edmonton there. I mean, you left me hanging a little bit. I had to have a drink by myself, but that's okay. We'll make up for it.
At Startup TNT, on Thursday in Calgary, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to go there tomorrow. I got my squash wind up for our current league, but and on the 23rd, the the Clean Tech Summit is up in Edmonton, so I'll be staying at the coast again.
Nice, nice.
So, but yeah, it's I love the collaborations and I love the friendships that we've created through our entire ecosystem here. But my last question for you, Jason, is if you had one piece of advice, and you've given a lot of advice here for startups and hiring, what would that be?
Yeah, I think it's advice that I have to actually give myself as well. And it's, there can be a lot of adversity and headwinds as an entrepreneur or a small business owner. And I think that you really, if you believe in something, just keep pushing. And you'll get through it. So I think that the entrepreneurs of all life cycles at all stages, this is a tenet that I think that they have to live by. And you train yourself, you become more accustomed to it, and that I've been through this before, I'm just going to keep pushing. And you build up resilience, I think, as a founder, as an entrepreneur. And so that's my advice, just keep pushing.
No, I love it. I love it. Keep moving forward. Keep moving the needle. Whatever analogy you want to use, I absolutely love it. And I love that you were able to come on here and share your story and share your knowledge with us today, Jason. I'm very grateful for that, and thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, Jade, for having me. Appreciate it.
And again, anybody wants to find out more information about ICONIQ, you can click on their website. It's in the comments section. The Alberta Technology Symposium. Early bird tickets are on sale now. You'll have 350 of some of the best tech leaders in Alberta in attendance there. So it's probably the best networking event in Alberta. And of course, your startup TNT finales, the tickets are available now. So Jason, again, thank you for your time. I hope everybody has a great day. And I forgot to mention it at the beginning, but I know it's International Women's Day. So to all the great women out there, my wife, my girls, Kalea, whoever else I deal with, Alexis, and then Jason, you probably have tons in your life. I mean, we're grateful for everything that you do, making our world a better place. So thanks to everyone. Thank you to Jason. And I hope everyone has a great day.